Col Miguel Howe. Thank you so much for joining us, and thank you for having us here.
Eric, thanks for having me on the show, and thanks so much for helping to make the invisible visible.
Well, of course, and that's exactly it, making the invisible visible. Tell me about the work, and certainly there are people now watching who have served, who loved one has served, how they can get help.
Well, Eric, I'd like to start by saying that the purpose of the Military Service Initiative is to meet President and Mrs. Bush's vision to honor the service and the sacrifice of all post-9/11 veterans and their families by fostering a successful transition and reintegration from military service to civilian life, with a particular emphasis on employment and addressing the invisible wounds of war.
How difficult can that be? You know the men and women. You served in Afghanistan and Iraq alongside them. When you try to transition into civilian life?
Well, there's really two areas that we've found are the most difficult. And the one that all veterans and all spouses face is employment transition. Within the military, not only does our work meet our financial requirements, but also provides us a sense of purpose and belonging. And so there really is a transition and a change in language and culture that's part of that transition into the civilian workforce. But, you know, there's one issue, Eric, that impacts all veterans, whether they have these injuries or not, and that's the invisible wounds of war. And one of the challenges with the invisible wounds are the negative stigmas and stereotypes, which also impact employers and their propensity to hire. And so part of that education process with the employers is that this is not something to fear. The invisible wounds, and we're talking specifically about traumatic brain injury and psychological health conditions like post-traumatic stress. These are actual injuries of war.
And it's hard for someone to sometimes admit that they need that help, and there is some place to go for that.
Well, that's one of the major challenges, right? And so through our research and through our surveys, we found that these stigmas actually serve as a barrier to veterans connecting to the care that they need. We recently did a survey of about 3,000 folks in the United States, the United Kingdom, and Canada, but also with almost 1,000 post-9/11 veterans here in the United States. And we found that over 85% of veterans say that the negative stigmas and stereotypes serve as barriers to seeking care and treatment for those injuries.
So quickly, finally, they can go to thebushcenter.org. What type of programs do you have? What type of advice can you offer? What can someone watching right now do?
So what we've done is establish the Warrior Wellness Alliance. And so we want folks to go to the bushcenter.org website where they can learn about this alliance, which is really a network of networks. We have best-in-class veteran peer-based organizations. There's really 4 things that all your viewers can do, and I would ask them today. First is know, understand, and connect to veterans, and know what the invisible wounds are and how they're treated. And you can learn more at bushcenter.org. Second, mentor young transitioning veterans and military spouses. Military does a great job preparing to fight, win, and survive on the modern battlefield, but they need that mentorship on our campuses and in the work setting. Third, find, hire, develop, and retain veterans in your businesses. They will make you more successful. And finally, support impactful organizations that help with transition. You can help with your time, your expertise, and your money. Great organizations like the ones in our Warrior Wellness Alliance or in your local community.
You know, they have served the country so well. It certainly is time for us to serve them. Colonel, thank you. Thank you for your service, and thank you for what you do here at the Military Service Initiative at the Bush Center for helping those who really do need help.